today. And I'll just start out with a brief overview of how this is going to work. Hopefully most of you have gotten your account set up. That is going to be the first step. And if you haven't, that's okay. We'll figure that out. Couple things to keep in mind. The first one is when they're asking,
we might have lost on.
Numbers, letter combination, unique to everybody. So there is a function where you can.
Hey, Don, we lost you there for a second. You might want to repeat what you said.
Okay.
Right as you started talking.
Of course. Because for some reason we're having intermittent issues here, right? You know, perfect storm. When you're creating your accounts and they're asking you for your member ID, it is not the one you're used to. It is going to be a completely new one, randomly picked. There's no sense to it. You're never going to figure it out. So once you don't know it, there's a function that will let you find your ID. Some people are getting an email right away. Some aren't getting it at all. And if that's the problem that you're having as club administrators, let me know and I can get it for you. I have access to get them. So just reach out to me and I will make sure that I get it to you as soon as I can. Yes, everybody, all athletes and non-athletes will be getting a new swimmer ID. The old ones are no longer can take up to an hour, even if you are the club administrator.
I lost her.
Yeah, Don, you're still going in and out. Can you dial in with your phone for the audio? That way we don't lose you.
Sure. Give me 1 second. I'll do that. Sorry. It's been a day, week. Give me 1 second and I will find that. Let me pull up the email real quick. Nope. No, because that's going to take forever to find. Hold on. No. I have too many emails. I can't find it.
I can resend it to you if that's.
Would you do that, please? Because I'm having.
Yes, 1 second.
I have too many chains on there that it won't go to the bottom.
Oh, I can only imagine. I'll also text this to you. Hold on.
Okay.
Just click on the little thing I texted you and you should get it.
Okay.
your meeting ID followed by pound.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, as soon as you turn off those speakers.
I just, you know what? I'm going to go off of, I'm not going to be on camera. I'm going to leave the iPad and then I can still screen share. So that's fine. As long as you guys can hear me, that's probably more important. Okay, so once you've created your account, and take you up to an hour before you'll get the club symbol. Don't know why, but that is, that did come out from USA Swimming. So don't panic right away. If after an hour you haven't gotten it, then contact me, because even though everybody was set up as a club administrator, if you got my email, that didn't necessarily happen, and I might have to go in and make a little switch. So again, it's not a big deal. It takes me just a couple minutes. So once you get in, if you've read that email, that welcome email, it kind of puts you through the steps of what you want to do next. Those of you that have Team Unify accounts, are going to be able to link your Team Unify account so much so that you can send emails to your members with a button that they'll click to go to the registration tab. Keep in mind, registrations are no longer going to be done by the clubs. No registration of any kind, not an athlete, not a coach, nor the clubs. Everything is going to be done through the USA Swimming website, including payment. So your athletes, your families will get this link. They will have to create an account, and then they will go through and register and be able to pay online.
So
What we know at, I'm sorry?
Don't forget to remind them that they're going to have to update their registration to not collect the USA Swimming fees.
Correct. So if you're usually billed in the fees, you're not going to charge your members that any longer. If you do use Team Unify, you need to be on the new system. You must upgrade for this link to work. I found that out today. So if you're not upgraded yet, I recommend you contact your representative, your Team Unify representative, for help with that. But that is the only way that this is going to work, through the Team Unify. Once you connect, let me back up for a second. Keep in mind, non-athlete members that are not a club administrator cannot log into this until September 1. That's when they'll have the ability to create their accounts. So Deck Pass, as we know it, is going to go away. It will no longer be available. It will no longer be supported. And that is not how you will be able to look up information. Anyone who used the old club portal through the SWIMS database previously, this is going to be a whole lot easier, and I'm going to show you in a little bit. You'll be able to see all of your registered athletes. You'll be able to see all of your coaches. You'll be able to see all of your facilities that you use. You will be able to see your coaches' expirations of all of their certifications and requirements and what they're missing. You'll be able to see all your athletes and your 18 plus and whether they have APT or not. This is really going to help you in that aspect. So if you are getting ready to enter a meet and you're not quite sure who is registered, you just go in, you log into this, and you click on your athletes, and it'll tell you everybody who's currently registered. And if you have a seasonal membership, it'll tell you, or if they have a seasonal membership, it will tell you whether or not, when the expiration date is on that, when that 150 days is up. So it's going to be a little more user-friendly than the old portal. And there will be bumps and bruises along the way. They are obviously still making updates, even tonight. So bear with us. I'm going to recommend that you do not have current athletes and non-athletes register right on September 1. I would suggest that we let them get some bumps and bruises out of the way before we do that, so that I don't have to look up everybody's new ID number. Else can I tell you real quick? Does anybody have any questions so far about that aspect of it, how that's going to work?
Hey, Dawn, this is Tim Dicko.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you yesterday for, I realize that you are extremely busy, and I want to thank you for addressing my concerns really quickly, actually. You just said about not registering until after September 1st. From the videos that I saw, post registration on the Team Unify website, the link automatically appears. And
It will, but
go ahead.
it will, and it will, but if you don't give your people a friendly reminder, because let's be honest, we all have the families, we all know who they are. You'll tell them to register, and it'll be 3 weeks before they do, and then you wanted them to do it the week before, so we tell them again. So if we could just gently ask them to hold off. New members, athletes that have not been with swimming at all, yes, we want them to register so that they are in the system, they are good, the insurance is covered. New coaches, same thing. New coaches, we want them to do that. And existing coaches, we go ahead and set up your accounts once we give you that access to do. But we're still not sure how that registration process, that link is going to work. And seeing all these little hiccups in just this administrative portion, I'm not quite sure how much I'm going to be able to help them right away.
Okay, I appreciate that, and we'll just have to figure out how to not, force that, or get some of the trigger happy people to slow down.
Right.
So, all right, we'll figure that out. I don't want to delay this any longer, so I'm sorry.
No. And if you want to flip through, that's fine. That's not a problem. It's not going to be a big deal. But if we cannot put the big gun ho push, hey, let's register now, and maybe wait until October 1st, when we then know that it's kind of working and they got the bugs fixed. I'll tell you right now, just for context, I got access on August the 8th, and we had a meeting scheduled for 3:00, and I really thought that we were going to get the access early and we all thought we were going to be able to ask questions. We all got access 2 minutes before the meeting started. And then half of us got the email, half of us didn't. Half of us couldn't get in at all because we were not in good standing. That's another thing that might happen, unless they fix that bug. If there's any certification that a non-athlete member has updated in August, it may not have updated in the new system yet. So they're playing catch up with that. That does not mean you are not in good standing. It just means that there's a couple more bugs they need to fix. So that is another little quirk that's happening. So let me show you. Let's see if we can screen share and if this will work.
And folks, I do want to add one thing before Dawn screen shares here. I am taking note of several of your questions, and Dawn and I do have routine meetings with the USA Swimming team that's working on this with the registrars from across the country as well. So as we learn more information and as we learn best practices, Tim, to your question about how do you potentially put off some members from, doing that USA Swimming registration until a little bit later, we'll be sure to share those back with you all. We're on this journey with you. And we'll make sure that there is flow of information. I do want to recognize that there is going to be a learning curve across the country, but we'll make sure that you're all supported. So please don't hesitate to raise those kinds of things to us, because we do have a forum to help get answers and solutions. So please do keep that feedback coming.
This is Angela Allen. I'm trying to visualize what the flow is going to be. I did not put the link. I set it up so it would be with Team Unify. I did not put the link because I didn't want to do that yet. Would you recommend not pairing the link on our webpage for a while? Because that link live as soon as I put there?
I don't think it's going to be live until September 1, but I would wait until September 1 because let's be honest, we all know there's going to be people out there that are going to try it.
Okay.
And then they're going to get frustrated, and then they're going to contact you and say, hey, I tried that registration link. It won't let me do it.
So the flow is going to be when they go to our registration page, there's a link that will be there when we put it, and it's going to force them to SWIMS 3.0. They're going to create an account.
Correct.
And once they pay, once they do that, how do we know once they're back on Team Unify registering for swimming for our sessions or for the season? How do we verify that?
You'll be able to look in your club portal. So, I mean, I know it sounds like you're probably going to have to go in every day, maybe to, while registration is going on, to see your updated lists. But it's going to be super easy to log in, right? You've got your login, you've got your password. It's going to bring you up. Okay. How am I going to share the screen? Let's see.
Hey, Dawn.
Yeah.
In that video from USA Swimming and Team Unify, there's a management page that you'll have on your Team Unify site that'll allow you to manage those the people and their memberships and such. So you'll be able to handle it from within your own website.
There we go. That's my IT guy.
Okay. So it sounds like when they do register, I just would not approve it until I see that they've paid, and then I would approve.
Well, yes and no. If they're existing members, if they currently right now are with the team, their membership doesn't end until December 31st. So you could go ahead and take their accept their membership and let them swim, as long as by December 31st they have registered with USA Swimming.
Okay, I got it.
It's your new members that you're going to want to track that a little more, because like you said, you won't know whether they've paid or not, and you want them to pay and be registered before you allow them that practice.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
So, yep, no problem. And once everybody has an account, it's going to be so much easier, right? So fast forward to next September when they're registering for the next year, they've already been through it. They're not going to have to put all their information in. And honestly, I don't think they're going to have to put all of their information in, because unless they're brand new, because existing people, like many of you know, when you created your accounts, all your information was there, right? Maybe some of it wasn't current. Maybe you've moved since the last time you registered, or maybe there was a bad phone number, or maybe you never updated it. So if you didn't update it, I didn't update it. But all of their information will be there. They will just be able to do a few different things. And that's what will be, that's what's going to be very helpful going forward. Okay, screen share. Why can I not find that?
Should be, Dawn, are you on your computer?
Yeah, I am.
Should be the green arrow at the bottom of the Zoom window if you make it bigger.
Oh, well, that's why. I minimized it so I could see what I was doing. Which one do I want to share? I want to share that screen. Okay. Sorry. So when you log in, this is what it looks like, right? And where it says My Member Card, click on that. There's your member card. Everybody has one of these. Somebody did ask me the question. They reached out to me and said, well, if Deck Pass is gone, what do we do? I would take a picture of this card because while I'm just an official, so I don't have all the coaches stuff, it will have all the coaches stuff on it. And it will have all the expiration dates for those things. It will tell you if I'm in good standing and when I expire. So for coaches, when you go to meet, if you take a picture of this on your phone and that's what you show, you won't have a problem, right? We're gonna have to educate our meet directors going forward with this, but that will be in place of that. So I am going to I have made myself a member of MCA because they were nice enough to let me do that. And yeah, I'm going to do it. Where did it go? No, my internet is going to be wanky again. It was fine. So I clicked the button. The loading is good. Okay. So as a club administrator, this is what you're going to see for your club. I have the LSC, your club code, the name. Go to team management. This is where you'll see your athlete roster. And as you can see, all of their athletes are currently there. Their dates of birth, when they're in good standing. Everybody's asked what premium athlete is. That's just year round. That's what they call it at USA Swimming now. If you click on that edit button, that is going to give you more information about that athlete. That's where their member ID is, right up here. That's where you will be able to see that piece of information. You can see their contact information. If they've had any club transfers. This one has not. If they're going to transfer, but we're not going to deal with that. So you, as a club administrator, have all that information you can see. You will also, let's go to staff. Now, this is where all your coaches are. This is also where all your board members should be. And if they're not, you will be able to add them just by clicking on Add Staff. And you don't know their member IDs yet, so you're going to click this little button, and you're going to need their first name, last name, and their date of birth to find them. Now, if they're an employee, you should have it, right? If they're a board member, I mean, they've given it to you in previous years. You can just ask if you haven't kept it. Then you're going to decide whether they're going to be a coach member, and you can click assistant or head coach. They can either be the head coach, and if they're an assistant, are they age group? Are they senior? Are they all three? They can be all. Are they also going to be a non-coaching? Are they going to be the club administrator? Are they a board member? Are they a meet director? For those of you that are coach-owned clubs, and you are the one that holds all these hats, click all these buttons, right? You're the owner, you're the president, you're the registrar, you're the treasurer, you're the club contact. That way, when USA Swimming wants to send specific emails to specific groups, they will be able to do that for your team, and they'll be able to do that to the right group. If you're a coach-owned team and there's somebody else that you want to have that, you'll be able to do that too. So then you would add that staff member. We're gonna unclick all these. I'm gonna try something that
And folks, one thing I want to add here is for those club non-coaching positions roles, that's where you'll also add folks that you want to have access to your club portal. So I'll paste a link here in the chat in just a second, but you'll have seen things like meet club administrator, club meet director, et cetera, under that section. Some of those do give access to your club portal. So be aware that that's how you give access, and be careful who you do give it to when selecting those titles. And I'll paste a help article in the chat for a second. But
okay, so it did work. So we're gonna add my daughter so I can play with her. We're gonna add her as an assistant coach to this team. Sorry, didn't do it. Yeah, I didn't do it. Oh, it won't let me. This is good. This was good. It won't let me because they're not active. He is not currently a member of USA Swimming. She was previously, and her profile is still there. But because she's not active, it is not going to let me add her to the staff. So that's good for those of you that when you're bringing on new members and they've said, oh yeah, I've got my registration, you'll be able to go, well, but you don't. And then ask them to go ahead and register. Let's try adding.
Dawn, you can add me.
Right.
It's fine.
Okay. I was gonna add. Yeah, I can do you. I was gonna see if it'll let me add Savannah. Because she's technically. Let's see if it lets me do this one because she's an athlete. So see if it lets us add her. So again, it's going to say no because while she's an active athlete, she's not an active coach. So you're going to want to have those athletes, and I know a lot of you have them, especially your junior coaches. You're going to have them add that membership to their profile before you'll be able to add them to your staff. I'll add you in a minute, Joe, while we're still on staff. So now you can go to the staff requirements. Here, you can see all of their certifications. So this is Elise. And this right here, this no expiration date on concussion is going to change because technically in Michigan, concussion is every 3 years. And the old SWIMS wouldn't let us put an expiration date in, but now it will. So I will be able to go in and put everybody's expiration dates, and then they will know when that comes up that they're going to have to renew their concussion. But her safety training for her online is good. Her CPR is good. Her in water. So the CPR and in water, those make up your lifeguard. SWIMS are two different things, but that's what a lifeguard has. Athlete protection is good. Her background check is good for a little longer, but her Coach Advantage tutorial has expired. So you as a club administrator can go through and go, okay, coaches, hey, this is what you need. You need to get this up by X date. If you go to the registration tab, well, let me do it here. Okay. Oh, there we go. Manage offerings. That's what you want. Here's your little report period, and we are on the current year, 2022. So these are all of the offerings that are currently available, and every club has them available. But what you as a club administrator are going to want to do is you're going to want to go to 2023, and you're going to want to decide which one of these your club is going to offer. You don't have to offer flex if you don't want to. If you're a team that doesn't have a whole lot of flex membership, and we can go over what flex is in a minute, if for those of you that don't know, then you can just unclick that and you won't be offering it any longer. It will not come up as an option for your athletes when they register. If you don't want to do seasonals, right? You're a club that 90% of your registrations are year round and they're done at the very beginning, then don't. You don't have to. You would just click it and it's not offered. Coaches,
So
obviously.
I have a question. I have a question on that, Dawn. I'm sorry. This is Tim DeCoste. So what do we care? I mean, if this is the parents' responsibility, then what do we care? I mean, as long as they're able to, as long as we see that they're active, I don't care how much they pay or how often they go in here and pay.
And that's, again, and some clubs may not care and some clubs don't want to deal with the hassle. For instance, on a flex membership, number one, it can only be 12 and unders. And number two, they're only allowed 2 meets a year for the competition year. So you get a new member, they become flex on September 1, and they go to a meet in October, and they go in a meet in December, they're done. They have to upgrade. That's not a problem, but then you're going to have to manage those questions as that comes up. When you go to register them for a meet and they're not able to, you're going to have to get the parents to upgrade their membership and pay the difference between the flex. And so you're right. You don't care what they pick, but if you don't want to deal with the hassles, if they pick the wrong one, then don't offer it.
So
But 100% agree. You can.
I do want to add on to that though, real quick. Particularly the thing to be careful of with the flex membership, Dawn is 100% right that it is 12 and under and only 2 meets. But the problem also becomes after the second meet, the member is no longer in good standing. So that means the athlete also can't practice. So the club would have to routinely monitor after every competition to see if any flex members are out of good standing. And if you're not familiar with offering that option as a, something routine, that may be a significant increased administrative burden. If you have an athlete practicing that's not in good standing, that does compromise USA Swimming's insurance policy it provides to clubs. So you may have a situation where that occurs, and that might be a reason why, if you don't typically offer flex, you may want to disable it.
Because there are some changes coming to flex for the 2023 year. One of them is the 12 and under. And I also believe that starting with the 2023 year, once you've been a flex member and you upgrade to the premium, you can never be a flex member again. So it's not a restart the next year with it. So it can get a little complicated. But again, it can be offered. Junior coaches are.
I was going to ask for just a quick rundown of what each of these are. Like, who would be an other? How old is a junior coach? Just so I know what I should be offering.
I was going down to that. So junior coaches are 16 and 17-year-olds. There's no fee for those athletes. There's no fee for that if they're an athlete, right? Athletes and coaches you can be a coach and an athlete and not have to pay for 2 memberships. So a junior coach is a 16 or 17-year-old that you have helping out with some of your younger kids, your 10-year-olds, right? Your 12 and unders. But you do have them on deck helping coach. They have to go through all of the same certifications of a coach, except for the background check, because we don't background check anybody under the age of 18. So it just gives them a little more protection on deck. Now, they cannot coach alone. A junior coach can never be at a meet by themselves, can never run a practice by themselves. They do have to have a certified coach on deck with them, but they can help out. So if, you got a couple of teenagers that help out and maybe you're short on regular coaches, this is a great membership for that. Officials obviously are certified officials, and that doesn't harm you in any way. right? Your parents that have become officials, they attach to your club. That only helps you in the eyes of USA Swimming anyway. The other category, so here's where it gets a little tricky. Administrator is going to be, I don't know if you remember last year when they said, now we have to make all board members USA members, and they had to pay the full $84. This administrator membership is going to be $48, and it is going to be for most of your board members, not the ones that have interaction with your athletes, but those that just sit on the board. Your fundraiser, your treasurer is an iffy one. I know your registrar cannot be an administrator. They cannot have that. They would have to be an other. Your meet entry person, if that is not a coach, cannot be administrator. They have to be an other. The way they kind of define it is if the non-athlete member can see and have access to the athlete's information, their member IDs, their birthdays, things like that, then they have to be a full-fledged member and do the other if they're not a coach or an official. Chaperones. I don't know how many teams in Michigan, but there are a lot of other teams, other LSCs where they do team travel and chaperones go with, they travel by bus, and chaperones have to have full-fledged, so they're the other. If you have a question about the administrator, reach out, because I will get a list together that is a little more comprehensive of who exactly that needs to be. And then again, premium athlete that's what they call the year-round. But when they say, well, I'm a flex member and you need to upgrade to premium, you're just becoming a year-round. Same with individual. I'm an individual member, but I'm an individual season. So let me hit on that. Seasonal memberships are done individually for 150 days. Now, I do not recommend a seasonal membership in September, but you can't turn it off. But come March, if you get some new athletes and, you know, they're only going to be there, or not, remember we can start registration on September 1, it doesn't pay to be a full year round. They can just do the seasonal. And it's good for 150 days from the time they register. And with this new system, when you go to your athletes, you'll be able to see what those expiration dates are. So if you got a meet coming up, for instance, I had somebody who had one, they did a seasonal in February, and then in July decided that they wanted to swim a meet. Well, it had run out already, so they needed to upgrade. No big deal, we just let them know. So you'll be able to see that too. Keep in mind, seasonal athletes cannot swim at sectionals or zones or any of the higher level meets. So I know sometimes kids come home from college, they've swam in college, and they're gonna come to the team and try to swim in sectionals. That's fine, but they would have to be a premium athlete. They could not do this seasonal to swim in sectionals or a zone meet or anything like that, or futures. So that's where you're going to manage your offerings. And then on September 1, when you, I gotta go back. When you click on that registration, no, well, it's not going to go back. All right. The 2023 year will come up as the default, but it won't do that till September 1.
So Don, just to confirm, we did have a question in the chat here from Patrick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That you can, no, that's okay. I'm monitoring the chat. To confirm, at any point during the year, you can turn on and off different membership types.
No, I do not believe so. And I will get there was some discussion about that at our last meeting. We wanted that, and they said they could not. I have a meeting next week where I will get the clarification on that.
Okay.
But currently they said, no, you have to put them all in initially and you can't change them. But I will get clarification on that. That is something that we asked them to switch. So we'll see if they did that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions I missed, Joe, please?
No, just one on the outreach membership, if you can show where you go to manage that in the link.
So
Because it's also
that's
not listed there.
Because it's, okay, outreach is not going to be listed. I will touch on that before we do facilities. Outreach is a premium membership. It is not a, it is not a seasonal. It is not a flex. They have all of the same benefits of a premium athlete. What's going to happen is you're going to have two links. You're going to have the normal link that you give everybody, and then you're going to have an outreach link. And that outreach link you will give to your outreach athletes. Now, they will see premium and they will pick premium, but when they go to check out, it will be the $7 that an outreach membership is and not the $86 that the normal premium is. They kind of get a discount at checkout. Right now, when you do outreach, those of you that have done them, you send me the verification, whether it be a letter from the school that says that they're on the free or reduced lunch program, or something from the state that they're on the WIC program or something to that effect. That no longer needs to be done. You are not going to send me any of that information. You as a club are going to retain it. And then you will take those that are, you will give the code to those that are eligible for the outreach. So, and you will keep those records. That's going on to the club. It will not be held by the LSC any longer. So that's how outreach is gonna work. I don't know yet from Team Unify how that dual link thing is gonna work. They might still be working that bug out, but that is what we've been told. So, any other questions about membership types? Okay, facilities. So right now, here are the current facilities that MCA has on they've added that they use, whether it's for a month or the entire year. And click on that, maybe? Okay. This is where they can edit it. Maybe the club contact for that particular facility is changed. They can go ahead and do that. Maybe the address has changed. You can go ahead and change that information yourself. You no longer have to contact me. I don't know, I won't do it. You want to add one, right? You have a new facility, and normally the process is, hey, Dawn, can you add this to our profile? You can do it yourself now. You just click on add facility and you're going to put all the information in. It will search for the facility first, which is what it used to do for me. If it doesn't find it, let's make one up. Rochester.
Don Gurley's backyard pool.
Yeah. All right, let's search for the facility. There were no results. Really? Okay, so do you want to add it? Yeah, sure, we'll add it. So now I can put all that information in for that facility, and then it will save it for you. Most of the usable clubs, the usable pools in Michigan are already in the system. Let's do this. They don't have Canham in here, so let's see if we can find that one. All right, we're gonna search for that one. What? Hey, what is it called? Because I know it's in here. Sorry. Name of, oh boy, now I'm stumped.
Donna, you're just looking for any facility that's in here?
Yeah.
Just do Seaholm High School. I know that's in there.
Already on there.
Oh, you want one that's not on theirs already?
Oh, you know what? You know what's not there though, and I think it is in. That should be in there.
Don't put in the city. Just put in the school and the state and see if it'll pull it up for you.
Really? Oh, I know that one's in there. So I will say that is temperamental. It was before, and I see. All right, we're going to add that one. It was temperamental before. Get their address. Shoot.
Stony Creek's already in there, Don. It's 575 East Tinkin Road.
575. Hey, I knew it was Tinkin. Do you have a zip by any chance?
Yeah, it's 48306. So folks, one thing to know, and it's something that USA Swimming did warn us about, is they are working on their search and match features. So over time, they are going to be implementing updates. So if it's not perfect now, like we mentioned, there are going to be a couple bugs. Hopefully it is going to get better with time. So we appreciate your patience as they work through that.
And we're going to save. Yes. We're going to save. Okay. Do I have to? I thought I put the state. Ooh, that might be part of the problem. Huh. Interesting. Usually it comes up with, there's already a facility that is very similar. Do you want to use that one? Did not do that this time.
Yeah.
Okay, but I do have a few bugs with the facilities to work out. Because if I go to Utica Shelby's profile, Stony Creek will be in there. But, all right, let's go back to facilities.
So
now
I just want to say the most important thing, I know this was kind of kind of confusing here. The most important thing is that you get your facilities in there. So whether or not you think it's in the system already, or if it prompts you to add it, go ahead and add it. If it doesn't find it, we will deal with USA Swimming on the back end and having them figure out how they're going to merge these things. Put your facilities in, don't worry too much about matching.
Yeah, and it's not going to require you apparently to put in the configuration, but if you'd like to, you can. And that's just whether and how many lanes, what kind of course it is, but you don't, it's not making you do it. So that's nice. So that's all, you know, you'll have all the, it used to make you, so most of these should already have that information. So we've successfully added it, even though, so that would be how you would add it, and now it's on your profile. And once you've added it, it is now considered part of your, for the insurance purposes, it is a facility that you use, and you are covered with the USA insurance.
What's the difference between training and competition? Because I'm looking at my two high schools, and one's showing up as training and the other as competition.
So training is going to be those schools that you only train at. And let's go back. No, I don't want to do that. Competition, and there was a question about that. Let's see. Is this a training facility? Yes or no. Facility can host a meet. So if you check the facility can host a meet, it's going to come up as competition. If you don't check the facility can host a meet and you check the training, then it's just going to come up as a training facility. The other nice thing about HIS, and if you see what it says here, training facilities will show up in Club Finder. So when potential new swimmers, I'll get this question a lot. Hey, my kids want to swim, but we don't know what club to go to. And I have to be impartial. I can't say, oh, well, you know what? You really should go to MCA because they're the best team around. I tell them that they should go to the USA Swimming website and put in their zip code, and it will tell them what teams are by them. And then go and look at the team's websites and see if that's a fit for you. If you think that that team will work for you, and then contact that team. So if you say no, then that won't come up in the Club Finder portion. But if you say yes, they'll then know, oh, they use this pool? Well, that's 5 minutes from my house. Maybe that would be a good fit for us. It's just another tool to help you, to help potential new members to your team. And it looks like most of these are training. And if you don't know, if you're a club that doesn't host meets and you don't know if they can compete in that one, then just leave it blank. Don't put it in. There's no harm in that. It doesn't matter for insurance purposes. It's just a tool for a search tool later on.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's not letting me switch mine to competition, but if it doesn't matter, it's fine.
Yeah, Leslie, if you put it in the chat, I can switch it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's going to be some things that it'll let us do that it won't, even if you are a club administrator, it won't let you do. We're still, again, they're still tweaking a few things. If you go to the groups, it's going to allow you to build groups. So if you have a travel, you have a meet that they're going to travel, you can make a travel practice, a specific site. You want to group your athletes by site. You'll be able to come up with these groups. And I don't know very many teams that do satellite sites. We don't have a whole lot of that in Michigan, but there are quite a few in other LSCs. So this also tells you what this is good for, what you can use these things. And if you don't, this is completely optional. Don't feel that any of these buttons, just because they're there, you have to use them. I will also point out the meet button only because it's there and everybody's going to ask about it. This is all the meets that this team, the MCA, went to this competition year, the 2022 competition year. And whether it was an approved meet, a sanctioned meet, or an observed meet. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that they went as a team. What this does mean is that they had an athlete swam in this meet. And those times have connected to that athlete and this team. So if MCA wants to host a meet, request the meet sanction. This is a function, but it is not one that we are currently going to use. So this would let you upload the meet announcement, but part of the reason we're not going to use this yet is we want these bugs to get all fixed before we do that. Once we get the bugs fixed and we know everything's up and running right, we will probably start doing this, but you would put in the start date, the end date, the facility, right? You could pick from the facilities that you use, whether it's short course, long course, open water, what kind of meet software you're using. So that wouldn't be non-sanctioned though, so I don't understand why that's the way that is. Sanctioned meet, is it a championship meet? Is it a dual meet? Is it sectionals? Or is it just an invitational? Is it an inter squad? And then open water. So again, we're not going to use it to start out with because there's a lot of things changing and we want to get everything up and running first. But it may be something we use in the future. So I just want to point it out because if I don't point it out, I'm going to get 16 emails that say, so what is this mutation request button? What else do we have? We've gone over that. I think, okay, this profile, this will be where you're going to put all your club information. So this already has it. This is the year that it was founded. This is that it's a 501c3, that nonprofit. Rural, suburban, urban, those are the only choices. They are a board-run team. What they're missing right now is a primary mailing address. And this would be a really good thing to add, because if USA Swimming needed to mail something to the club. So if your club has a P.O. box, that's what you're going to put in there. Club website, and what that does is when somebody does the search, that will also pop up so that they can click on that button and go right to your team website. So if it's changed, you might want to update it, make sure it's the right thing. These, I'm not sure. I don't think you can change them, or not all of them. They will not let you register your club if you do not do the pre-employment screening. So that has to be a yes. You also have to be doing the state concussion laws. MAP is also required. The included in Find a Club search, you don't have to, but it doesn't cost you anything, so why wouldn't you? Racing Start Certified is required. And then the CLBMS 101 and 201, that's for new clubs. Some of you have been in here long enough that you will have been grandfathered into these two categories and you won't have a date, or it'll be what they defaulted it to. But that's just kind of telling you what your club policies are. I don't, oh, you're okay, so here we go. If you're a Y team, right? You're run by the school district or a park and rec department. That's where you would put what or the college, U of M is gonna put, that's what they're gonna put. But MCA doesn't do any of those, so we're just gonna leave it as non-applicable. And then this is gonna be, going forward, I think they're gonna want all this information. They have never asked us for it before. Right now it's not required, but I would guess if the button is there, eventually they'll ask for it. So that's yet to come. And I think this is just going to be every year that the club registers, it will, going forward, it'll show what registration years they had. If for some reason, and some clubs have done this, so this is where I think they're going to let you do this on your own. I don't recommend it, but let's say they didn't want to be called Motor City Aquatics anymore. They wanted to be called Motor City Aqua, I don't know, Motor City Aquatics Club. They wanted to add club to it, or swim team. This is where they would add that. Club codes, I don't think you shouldn't be able to do this one either, but I don't know. They haven't told us what this is about yet.
If you can see this, please just don't change it.
Yeah, these are things that, while they're buttons, and I want you guys to look at the buttons, don't change these, because that will probably become a big nightmare for us. And I know there are a couple of you that we've had some hiccups with your member IDs. I have emailed support 3 times and they still have not gotten back to me. So I'm not sure who to go. I went to my liaison at USA Swimming, who told me to email support. I'm not sure how to get that fixed yet, but I am working on it. So just keep that in mind. So that's kind of in a nutshell what you're going to see and what you're going to be dealing with for now. I know there's going to be other updates. But right now, We're still waiting for them from USA Swimming. Joe, are there any questions in the chat that I've not touched on?
No questions, but Nick says he doesn't see the admin menu on his screen. So folks won't be able to change the club names. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you know what? That's good to know, Nick. Then that means because I am the LSD admin, it would let me change it, but it won't let you do it. So, because that is, I will say that is one of the downfalls of this. I see this from my access perspective, and sometimes I see things you can't. And so, but that must be that's my access. Because see, this is where I manage the offerings and what we will offer. This is where I'll be able to run reports. They're not there yet, but this is, I can run, sometimes you guys, some of you have asked, oh, can you run me a report of my coaches or my athletes, or can I get an athlete roster? This is where I would normally be able to do that. I don't have that ability. They don't have that in yet. Same thing, I'll be able to do groups, but last time I checked, we didn't have that yet, but
No,
maybe
we
it's
still.
changed. Oh, well, it's still wanky, but those are the default ones they gave me, which aren't very good, so. But if you are a club administrator, you should have club when you log into this. It should say club up here. That tab you should have. And that is the one. If you don't have that, let me know and I will double check your administrative status. And if you're I know there are a couple of teams that have somebody on here who was not the original club administrator. The club administrators can give access. So remember when I showed you how how do I go to my dashboard? So if I go to my club again, team management, staff. So if when they go to staff, that non-athlete person that they also want to have that administrative access isn't there, they'll do the add staff thing, and then from these rules, they'll give them the club administrator, and then allow them. I know there's a place, and I off the top of my head, I don't have it, but I will email it all out to you. What the access that every different person can have. So for instance, the club administrator is the one that can do just about everything. There's a head coach access, what that person can do. The club meet director, this is going to be, for those clubs that do host meets, this is going to be a very important box that you need to check for your club meet directors. And whether it's, if you have 2 or 3 people that are meet directors, that's fine. But to be able to load the times into SWIMS going forward, the meet director and the meet referee both have to be in good standing. So if we go to search meet directors and that person isn't checked, I don't think it's going to identify that person as a meet director. And we'll need to do that. So all meet directors have to be non-athlete, the full-fledged non-athlete members anyway. So just, again, if it's a coach, great. They can have that dual role. If it's a board member, not a problem. They can be, both of those. But just, that's an important piece.
So 2 things I want to add here, folks, and I want to make sure are super clear, because this is, while it has been policy in the past, hasn't necessarily been strictly enforced. In order to add anyone to this club staff section, they do have to be registered, and USA Swimming's expectation is that all board members of your club are registered and logged in here as board members. And as to what Dawn had mentioned with respect to meet directors, if the meet director is not current at the time of the meet, we won't be able to load the times into SWIMS, and we will not be able to substitute a different meet director that was not actually the meet director at that meet. So it will be a significant impact if your meet directors are not correctly reflected in here and current. So we will not be able to do a switch on the back end. So please make note that that is extremely important going forward as a result of the new system. So
Another thing that is also extremely important, and those clubs that do host meets, the whole deck registration thing where they can pay double the price, that's going away because we no longer, I can't deck register anybody. I can't backdate a registration. So you can't take their money and have them fill out the form and send it to me. And then on Sunday before the meet is over, I backdate it to the first day of the meet. That function is gone because they have to register themselves. So if they're not registered on the first day of the meet, they cannot swim. They cannot compete. If they do compete, the times do not go into SWIMS. They cannot be used as a proof of time because they were not registered at the time. And the fines that are in place for the host club for allowing someone not registered will be implemented. So that's going to be a key piece when taking deck registry or the deck entries. So making sure that they are registered.
Sorry, we did have one question in the chat. I want to clarify for Alexis. Alexis, it's not 0 deck entries, it's 0 deck registrations. So there is a difference. Deck registrations are when an athlete shows up to a meet and is not currently registered with Michigan Swimming and USA Swimming. They don't have an active membership. In the past, you used to be able to have them fill out a paper form. They would pay you double the registration fee, and then you would be able to enter them in the meet because they would be registered with Michigan Swimming by filling out that form and paying. Now going forward, you will only be able to take deck entries from people who are already registered with Michigan Swimming and USA Swimming. So you can still take deck entries for anyone who's already registered. If you have an athlete who's been with your club and isn't registered and all that good stuff, you can still take the deck entry. It's just deck registrations where you're registering the athlete with the organization on the spot can no longer take place because there is no way for Michigan Swimming to actually register the athlete anymore. The athlete has to register in advance. So yeah, I recognize that could have caused a little bit of alarm. It's just the registrations piece.
Yeah, deck entries are still possible if you want to do those. That's not an issue. Another thing going forward, like I said, you'll be able to see your athletes is that athlete protection training for over 18s. If they do not have it done on the first day of competition, they will not be able to swim. And it's not going to be where, well, can they just sit here and finish it and we can show you that it's done? No, because while they complete it and they do get a certificate of completion, it can take up to 24 hours for that to update in the SWIMS database. And technically they are not in good standing and those times won't get loaded into SWIMS. So that's another very important piece. You know, you'll still be notified through pre-meet recons that, hey, you know, these 2 athletes or this athlete hasn't taken it. It needs to be taken very, very seriously because there's nothing, they cannot compete.
So yeah, and so I want to clarify too, I've actually had 3 of the very similar question come through from I think Tim, Sean, and Nick. Athlete, the very honest answer, y'all, to the question of can the athlete register on their phone before they come into the meet is, you know, or standing there at the meet is, we don't know. According to USA Swimming, the registration will be immediate in the sense that as soon as the member pays, they are registered with Michigan and USA Swimming. There's no approval process required on our end. However, if your team requires approval, like if you're having them register through your Team Unify site, and you require approval there before they get the link or something like that, and that gets held up in that approval stage, it won't necessarily be immediate. So the athlete is only registered when they get all the way through and submit payment to USA Swimming and Michigan Swimming, however that happens. So I would say I've taken this down as a note to clarify for y'all once this actually gets rolled out on September 1st. And we'll certainly send out some clarification, but I think the honest answer is we're waiting to see how it actually plays out in the real world. I wouldn't bank on it, but I would certainly say it's a possibility. But we'll provide further guidance.
They claim yes. We've been told that it's instantaneous, but again, we'll see if they've changed on any of those things. One other thing real quick I wanted to clarify. I think I did, just make sure, it just popped in my head. While you can add staff, you can't take them away. I don't know if I said that. Supposedly that is a function that they're going to put in, but it's not there yet. So Elise is no longer in good standing, and she has moved on and is not coaching any longer. You can't just say, okay, remove her from our roster and she becomes unattached. You will need to reach out to me and say, hey, Elise is no longer with us. Can you just kind of switch her? And I will be able to do that. But I've been told that function is going to change. It's just not there yet. So fingers crossed it'll be there, because that'll make everything a whole lot easier. But I do want to clarify that, because a couple of people had asked about that earlier, and I did want to update you there. Anything else?
Dawn, I think one good question that came up is transferring clubs. How is that going to work? That'll be a little bit different in this system.
So there's actually going to be two ways to do it, actually. Okay, where did the assay roster go? That's why I have been told that the team can do a transfer request. Of course, that's why. Or they can do it themselves too, is what I've been told. But that piece of it is still unclear. So that is something that I have on our list of questions for next week's call, when we do have a scheduled call to go through any potential problems that we have found. So I thought club transfer. So as the team administrator, you can go in and transfer.
Nope, Dawn, you're in the LSC admin part here.
Oh, am I? Okay. Never
Yeah,
mind then.
you're in the member.
Yeah.
You're in the member section. So
But I'm on the team.
yeah, but you looked up a member. Yeah, I don't think.
No, I would. Is Joe still on the call?
I'm here.
Right.
Yeah, you might want to have Joe McBratney
sorry.
check. I don't think you can
Yeah.
transfer an athlete out. I think the athlete has to request the transfer.
All right. That
Yeah.
I will clarify with USA.
Yeah.
I do not know for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Well, yeah. I don't know why it'd be on the club search portion of it, because I didn't look the athlete up per se. I looked it up under the athlete roster. But
Right, but when you click
who knows?
edit, it's taking you to your admin edit menu. The club might not have all of those buttons
okay.
available. Yeah. So what USA Swimming has told us though, and we again, Dawn and I will confirm this next week, is the club, you may either be able to see who wants to transfer to you. You may be able to see who you may be able to see things that are pending. We do know that athletes will be able to quote unquote request a transfer, and it will have to be approved by the accepting club. They have USA Swimming, I was just scrolling through their website, has not yet released the transfer video. But Dawn and I will clarify, and we'll make sure that in a next session that we're able to answer that for you. But That's a piece that's still
Yeah.
a little bit up in the air.
Just ask a quick question. If we have a swimmer that wants to register for the new season, for the entire 22-23 season, and they're switching clubs, is that still going to be considered a transfer?
No, and it was never, yes and no. So technically it was always considered a transfer. However, because they are registering for a new season and you are giving them your code, your link, they will register with your club. They won't register with the club that they were with for the previous season. So that's not really a transfer. They're just registering for the 2023 year. And that is always how we have handled transfers, that if it's from one competition year to the next, there's no transfer fee. The 120-day rule still applies, and there's nothing we can do about that right now. And that's why USA Swimming always called it a transfer. So when you did your on the old Team Unify system, when you could upload your batches, and it would say it's a transfer, because technically, yeah, I mean they had been with one team and they're going to another, but as long as you give them your registration link, they will be able to register with your club.
Now, will they still send out the email or notification to the team they're transferring from?
Most likely, and the reason that they do that is, so let's say they still owe that club money, right? They're not leaving in good standing. It lets that club know that, hey, these people are leaving, and that club can reach out and try to get their money. They can go to court. I will tell you, there's nothing that we can do or USA Swimming can do unless there is a judgment, a court judgment. So if somebody leaves your club and they owe you $100, I can't stop them from going to another team unless there's a court order that says, hey, they owe us money and we're putting a lien on it and we're trying to collect it. So unless it's a astronomical amount, there's not really any recourse.
Okay, thank you on that question.
Dawn, one more question, not related to transfers, but should new coaches start their certifications now or wait until after September 1st?
So if they are a new coach, completely new, never coached before, but they are in the system, they can certainly go ahead and start. They can take the athlete protection training. They can take CAT. If they haven't done the online safety training for swim coaches yet, that's through the Red Cross, so they can do that. Their concussion, unless they have to be on the pool deck at practice, and I do know some teams practice in August, I would wait to register them till September 1, because if they register today, they're only good until December 31st of this year. If they register on September 1, they're good until December 31st of 2023. But if they have to be, if you want them at practice on August 30th, then they have to be registered. But they can certainly go in if they are if they have ever been a member of USA Swimming. I will say a lot of times these kids forget. They don't forget, but they don't understand that they've been members before. So when they fill out the paperwork and they check the box that says no, there's been a lot of them, including one I got today, that no, they actually were a member. They just didn't realize they were because their parents registered them as a swimmer, and now they've come back to coach. But yeah, they absolutely can. That's not a problem. That function is still available through the Learn platform.
So actually, small technicality there. Foundations of Coaching is not currently available through Learn. That has been turned off until September 1st.
That's the only one that's not available because they're revamping the foundation. So that isn't available, but September 1, there will be something that is available instead for them.
Yeah. If you have a coach that's in that situation, please reach out to Dawn, or you can reach out to myself, but I'll probably point you to Dawn. And we'll talk you through the best options.
I mean, I know I had one club, and if you're on the call, I will get to you by tomorrow, that had a new board member, and the new board member wanted to get the background check and the APT done, and you can't do that until you're actually in the system. And I can currently still add a non-member, which puts them in the system and allows them to take that course, but they haven't registered yet. So I can still do that until September 1. And that's another way that they can go about doing it if they're not in the system. But yeah, reach out to me, shoot me an email, and I will get back to you.
Dawn, question, can we see athlete standings and expiration dates on the Team Unify platform?
I believe so. I do believe that is going to be, that will also migrate over, because I do know where I've seen that the new member IDs have, if you've clicked the link, they will link up. So I'm pretty sure it will show that. You can reach out to your Team Unify representative and they'll have that question. I will also reach out to ours. I talked to her today, but I can put a few more questions to her. I told her we were having a meeting, so that is one I will ask. And it might be in that video, that Team Unify video. I think it's about 20 minutes long, but it is pretty comprehensive.
In the Team Unify video, you can see pretty much everything in Team Unify that you can see on the USA swimming system. And then I had a question about how are team registrations going to work?
Team registrations are also going to be through the website. So the club administrator, and I don't know that they have that button on yet, because again, you can't do it till September 1, but I'm going to guess in this registration part, they will add another link to be able to register the club. Maybe it'll be under team management. I'm not sure, or maybe it will be in here. We just don't have it yet. And I'm guessing because it's not going to be available till September 1. But that will all be done through this website.
Got it. Thanks.
Done, with the exception of payment for the club.
No,
Correct.
that they will pay. So the only difference is you will pay the USA Swimming portion to USA Swimming, and then Michigan Swimming will bill you the LSC portion. Currently, right now, we would bill you the $125, and then USA Swimming would bill us. They are going to take their portion when you register, and then we will bill you for our portion.
So if we have a standing credit card or debit card, whatever, is that going to take care of those bills?
That will take care of your LSC portion. So it will not take care of, you will have to, when you go to USA Swimming, you will have to use a credit card or whatever form of payment you want to use with them. But when I bill you, so we're still going to keep your ACHs, and the reason is because we still take the meet sanction, well, if you host meet sanction fees will come from there. For the entries to MAGs and Ultra, we will still continue to collect on behalf of the host team. So we will still take them from there. And then your portion of the yearly club renewal, we will bill through that also. But it will not that information does not automatically go to USA Swimming. You will have to put your own information in. when you do that. Those clubs that pay for their coaches' registrations, you will either have to have a little meeting where somebody sits with the team credit card and inputs it for everybody, or come up with a reimbursement program, because there's no grouping and putting an account on file with USA Swimming. Each member will have to register through their own account. I am going to stop sharing because I'm sure I'm going to get kicked out in about 3 minutes.
Don, we had another question. For a club that is, or for a coach that is currently certified but switching teams, do you just add them as a coach, or does the coach still need to be transferred by the LSC?
So that staff function that I showed you when we were in there, you can add them. You just go to that add staff. You get their member ID by having their first name, last name, and date of birth. You search them, their name will come up. Their member ID will actually go in that box, and you click add. And that will automatically transfer them from whatever club they're currently with to your club. So you don't have to come through me. Cut out the middleman. You can add staff on your own, even if they're currently registered with another team.
So that means like I had to get a hold of you to get my ID to register, then I transfer that coach.
No, while that was because on the USA platform, when you did it, they were supposed to email that information to you. Once you log into your account, that add staff feature is there, and you just have to click that button, and then when you put add staff, if you don't know their member ID, which you're not going to, you click that little icon where you can search it. You put their first name, their last name, their date of birth, and their member ID will pop up, and we'll be able to go right in that spot.
Okay, thank you.
And if you have any problems, let me know, but it should work. I've had a couple of coaches test it already, and it did work, so.
Do we have any other questions? All right, well, I think Don and I will hang around for a few minutes, although we'll probably get kicked out of this at Don said 1 minute here because they're going to do some upgrades tonight. Don and I'll stick around. We will continue to communicate with you all. You'll continue to get emails from Don. We'll continue to communicate answers. Don and I might do another one of these next week, so be on the lookout for that. Recognizing that this is, something very big, very new. We're all going to go through this together. We're here to be your partners. Don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to support you. And then if we can't, or if we don't have the answer, we'll find a way to get it for you. Patience is going to be super important as we go through this and as the USA Swimming works out the bugs. So just, please bear with us as much as possible. There are going to be times where we don't necessarily have any more information than you do. So.
And I will let all of you know that personally, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I'm going to be available, but not as readily available as I usually am. I'm moving Savannah to Seton Hall, and so I'll have my computer and I can do some things, but we're driving. I'm going to be in the car. I won't be able to get the answer right away. You can always reach out to Joe on those 2 days. If he can't answer it, he'll reach out to me. And as soon as I do get to somewhere where I can email you back, I will. Just be patient. I try to get back to you guys as soon as possible, but I want to let you know that those days I am going to be traveling and I'll be kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, don't hesitate to reach out to me on those days. I'm happy to help y'all. And I'm happy to yell at someone else if I need someone else to do it. So. All right. Thanks, y'all. Very much appreciate your time this evening. Stay tuned for more info from us.